together today. Around the world, the rules that once underpinned economic stability and security are being reshaped. Competitiveness, productivity, supply chains, talent, technology, and energy are no longer just economic issues. They are national security imperatives. As Canada's capital, Ottawa carries both an extraordinary opportunity and a profound responsibility to lead in this moment of transformation, to align business and government in a shared growth agenda, and to ensure that our economy is strong, resilient, and values-driven for the long term. For 168 years, the Board of Trade has been the voice of business in this region. Today, our role is more vital than ever to convene leaders like you, to align priorities at every level of government, and to advocate for policies that strengthen competitiveness, enable innovation, and deliver inclusive prosperity. We only exist to connect public and private leadership, to turn dialogue into action, and to position Ottawa and the National Capital Region as a strategic economic engine for Canada and a trusted partner on the global stage. Today's program is designed with that purpose in mind. We will open with a State of the City address from Mayor Mark Sutcliffe to outline Ottawa's economic and city-building priorities. We will then hear economic insights from PwC's Chief Economist, federal updates from the Honourable Janice Sudds, and a conversation on defence, security, and resilience with Kevin Reid, the President and COO of the DRS Bank. We will conclude today with a panel of industry leaders who are building the future of this region in real time. Amy McLeod, Dan Goldberg, Glenn Cowan, and Mitch Karkner, moderated by Sonia Shorey of Invest Ottawa. This is more than an outlook, it is a call to leadership. Realizing Ottawa's full potential requires radical collaboration between business, community, and government. It requires alignment around growth, productivity, and investment. And it requires a shared commitment to values-based outcomes that strengthen our economy, our society, and our national security for generations to come. We are honored to be joined here today by several elected leaders. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, of course, City Councillors Cathy Curry, Sean Devine, Laura Dudas, Catherine Kitts, and David Hill, the Honourable Mona Fortier, the Honourable Marie-France Lalonde, the Honourable Janice Sudds, and MP Yasser Naqvi. Thank you all for your service and for your partnership in advancing the policies, investments, and conditions that enable business growth, economic resilience, and opportunity for all of us. A very special welcome to the Ottawa City Manager, Wendy Stephenson, to the President and CEO of Invest Ottawa, Sonia Shorey, to the President and CEO of the Ottawa Airport, Susan Margulies, and to the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Premier and the head of the Ontario Regional Office in Ottawa, Scott Phelan. Is Scott here? I only used two of your several titles, Scott. I hope that was okay. Finally, thank you to our OBOT members, our economic and pillar partners, and to our board of directors, including Brendan McGinty, Dan Dory, Melissa Reeves, John Proctor, and Krista Keeley, for your leadership, your investment, and most importantly, for your belief in Ottawa's future and our role in the country's future. Convening leaders and creating space to connect, align, and act is essential to our shared growth agenda, and it is only possible because of key event partners. So thank you for bringing us all together today, to the City of Ottawa, and specifically Cindy Van Buskirk for your high-value leadership and partnership, to Mann Lawyers and to Neil Schwartz for your steadfast support, the Rogers Centre, thank you to Helen Heidi and Leslie Pincombe for so beautifully hosting us. Hotel Casino Lac Limi, thank you to Lee Sarazan for your continued commitment to regional economic development. To our AV partner Event Design, to Oakwood Designer and Builders, and to Rogers TV, can we show them all a warm round of appreciation? It is now my honor to invite to the stage the Mayor of Ottawa to deliver the State of the City address and set our context for the conversations ahead. Please welcome Mayor Sutcliffe.
Thank you very much, Suling. Merci, Suling. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. C'est vraiment un plaisir d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui, and I want to thank Suling and the whole team at the Board of Trade for inviting me today. Thank you for all you do, all the amazing things you do to support our local economy and create jobs in our city. Look, we're only a few weeks into 2026, only a few weeks into the new year, and already so much is happening in the world. There's so much going on in the news. Donald Trump is imposing more tariffs and threatening to take over Greenland. The Prime Minister just made a very, very impactful and significant speech in Davos, which was awesome. Very impressive. And I got a new cat. Some of you may have heard about that. Yeah, you know, I've gotten more feedback about that cat, Bruce, in the past week than about many of the things that I've done as mayor of Ottawa. But there you go. My kids had been pleading with me to get a new cat ever since our last cat passed away in the fall. And I got to tell you, I was reluctant. I wasn't really that keen on going down that path again after losing our last cat. But then I thought, you know, I love my family, I love my kids, I want them to be happy, and a new cat will make them happy, so we got a new cat. And, you know, the other day I realized that's kind of the same feeling that I had in 2022 when I decided to run for mayor. I was reluctant, but I love my city, I love the people of Ottawa, I want them to be happy, I want them to be optimistic, I want them to be proud of their city. Je veux que les résidents d'Ottawa soient fiers de leur ville. And let's face it, in 2022, there wasn't a lot to be proud of. Let's go back to the winter of 2022. We were coming out of the pandemic. Many of our community centers and arenas had been converted into shelters. The convoy was occupying downtown Ottawa. Residents across the city felt unsafe. Our light rail project was the subject of a public inquiry. The system wasn't performing well at all. The city's relationship with other levels of government was strained. The cost of everything, including food and housing, was rising dramatically. Young people were losing the dream of home ownership. Cars were being stolen out of people's driveways. Multiple times a day, there were no ambulances available in our city. People were struggling to find a family doctor. And at City Hall, there was a lot of infighting and division. Politics was getting more and more toxic. And if you heard about Ottawa on the news in 2022, it was either because we couldn't get the trucks out of downtown or we couldn't get the trains to run. Beaucoup de gens avaient le sentiment que la ville allait dans la mauvaise direction. People were not happy with the direction the city was going. They thought things were getting worse, not getting better. And I realized that if I had a chance to make a difference, I should take it. So I decided to run because I love my city and I wanted to make things better. 4 years later, we still have a lot of challenges. But I'm proud to say that we're making progress. And I am determined to keep going. I am determined to keep Ottawa moving forward. Going back to 2022, we started by getting everyone working together again, around the city council table and throughout the community. On council, we don't agree about everything. We don't always vote the same way. But in a time of great division and hostility in politics in Canada and around the world, here in Ottawa, we are respectful and we are collaborative. We're finding consensus on almost every major issue. And I think that's what the people of Ottawa want and expect. Look at the balanced approach that we've taken to our city budgets over the last 4 years. A lot of people in Ottawa are struggling to make ends meet. We simply can't add to their financial burden with big tax increases. So we have kept taxes as low as possible. We've done this by carefully managing taxpayers' money and tightening our belts, just like many families and small businesses throughout our city. Nous y sommes arrivés en gérant prudemment l'argent des contribuables et en nous serrant la ceinture, comme le font déjà de nombreuses familles et petites entreprises. Over the past 3 years, we've found $253 million in savings and efficiencies at City Hall. That's $250 million in savings. That works out to more than $530 in savings for every household in our city. As a result, since 2022, Ottawa's property tax increases have been the lowest of any major city in Canada. Depuis 2022, Ottawa affiche les plus faibles hausses de taxes foncières parmi les grandes villes du Canada. Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver have all seen increases of 20, 22%, 24% over the past 3 years. We've kept our average increase to around 3% per year. Now, there are some people who are saying we should have bigger tax increases, not smaller. I don't agree. Property taxes add to the cost of housing for owners and renters. They add to inflation. But even though we've kept taxes low, we have invested in our critical priorities, the things that matter most to our residents, the things that will make Ottawa a better, safer, more reliable, more competitive city. And we're doing that. We're investing record amounts in public transit, in policing, in paramedics, in infrastructure, in fixing our roads and sidewalks, and in affordable housing. Just before Christmas, the 2026 budget passed by a vote of 21 to 4. 21 to 4. I think that shows it's the right approach, a balanced approach, an approach that works for every part of our city. It demonstrates the consensus and the collaboration that I've been working towards since I was elected. Now let's talk about some of the other progress that we've achieved by working together as a community. In 2022, our city was facing a huge number of level 0 events. That's when there are no ambulances available in Ottawa. We've invested significantly in our paramedic service since then. We've hired 141 new paramedic staff and worked with the provincial government and our healthcare partners to reduce offload delays in hospitals. As a result, level 0 events were down almost 80% in 2024, and that trend has continued in 2025. We've heard from residents that they want to feel safer in their neighborhoods. So we've invested record amounts in our police service. Depuis 2022, nous avons embauché 70 nouveaux policiers. Since 2022, we've hired 70 new police officers. We opened the new Police Operations Center to serve the Byward Market. We also introduced a new pilot project to deliver a different response for mental health calls in Centertown. It's called Anchor, and so far the results have been very positive. It's a better and a more compassionate way to respond to these calls, and it takes the pressure off the police and frees them up to do other work. I'm pleased to share that as part of the 2026 budget, we will be expanding Anchor to another part of the city. Now, unfortunately, in recent years, as you know, we've seen a dramatic increase in hate-motivated incidents, including anti-Semitic and Islamophobic attacks right here in our community. In a few months, we'll be considering a new bylaw to protect religious and cultural spaces, hospitals, schools, and retirement homes from protests that harass residents. I will also be hosting a symposium next month where we will talk about practical steps that we can take as a community to fight hatred and racism and make Ottawa a kinder city. I think you'll agree that we can't be a successful city until no one is left behind. In the 2026 budget, we're investing $222 million towards supporting the most vulnerable residents in our city. We're investing in improving food security and fighting homelessness. Since 2022, we've created 700 new transitional housing beds. We now have more supportive and transitional housing units in our city than shelter beds, for the first time ever. And as a result, we've been able to reopen the community centers and arenas that were being used as shelters 4 years ago. We've dramatically increased capacity, so this winter, we're not running out of space to support vulnerable people. In addition, a few months ago, I made a big commitment. I pledged that by 2030, we are going to eliminate youth homelessness in Ottawa once and for all. I think you will all agree there is nothing more important than the safety and security of our youth. We are working closely with the Alliance to End Homelessness and other community partners. We set aside another $400,000 to support this goal in the 2026 budget. And on Friday, the Chateau Laurier is hosting the annual Mayor's Ball, and we're going to raise more money towards this ambitious goal. We are also investing significantly in building more affordable housing. Last term of council, the city invested $45 million over 4 years. This term, we've more than doubled that amount to $105 million. Nous nous attaquons avec détermination à la crise du logement en mettant en place certaines des mesures les plus ambitieuses du pays. I heard from people throughout the community about the challenges of building homes in Ottawa, the long approval process, the red tape, the fees and taxes, the long list of studies that had to be completed before a project could move forward. So we got to work on fixing that. Last spring, I launched the Housing Innovation Task Force. It was co-chaired by Brendan McGinty, the chair of the Board of Trade. And based on the work of that task force, I introduced a housing action plan with an ambitious and straightforward goal to make Ottawa the most housing-friendly city in Canada. Ce plan met notre ville sur la bonne voie pour rendre plus facile la construction de logements à Ottawa. The Housing Action Plan includes 53 different measures to streamline the process, cut costs, and change the culture at City Hall. We're removing barriers. We're pausing, deferring, and reducing fees. We're speeding up approvals. We're making it easier to get shovels in the ground. This is quite simply the most ambitious housing plan in our city's history and the biggest overhaul of our planning process ever. C'est la plus grande refonte de notre processus de planification jamais réalisée. And only a few months later, nearly half of the recommendations are already implemented or in progress. Also, later this month, next week in fact, Council will vote to eliminate 13 of the studies that we used to require as part of the planning process. I'm sure you've heard about these. There are all kinds of studies that have added time and cost to the process, like shadow studies and wind studies. Builders will no longer have to do them. And we're narrowing the scope of another 13 studies so they're less impactful on the building process. We will become the most housing-friendly city in Canada. We will say yes to housing. Nous allons être la ville la plus favorable au logement au Canada. Nous allons dire oui au logement, and we're already starting to see some results. In 2025, there was a 38% increase in housing starts in Ottawa. That's during a period when many municipalities saw a significant decline. As you know, over the course of the last 3 years, we've also negotiated a number of significant deals with the federal and provincial governments, bringing more investment to our city and making sure that we are finally getting our fair share. It's great to have Scott Phelan here representing the Premier's office. Scott's been doing a great job. The provincial government has committed to uploading our LRT system, which will save us literally billions of dollars in the future. The impact will be as much as $85 million a year that we can reinvest in public transit. And the most recent deal we signed was in December. Many of you were in the room when I hosted Prime Minister Mark Carney at the Mayor's Breakfast. I was proud to announce with the Prime Minister that Ottawa is the first city in Canada to sign a deal with the new housing agency, Build Canada Homes. Merci à nos partenaires fédéraux. It's great to see Jenna and Mona here today. Thank you for your hard work on our city's behalf. And oh, Marie-France is here behind the speaker. And Yasser just walked in. Toute l'équipe est en place. Thank you all for being here, and thanks for your partnership and collaboration. We're very grateful. Ensemble, nous nous sommes engagés à investir 400 millions de dollars pour la construction de 3,000 logements abordables à Ottawa. Together with the federal government, we committed to investing $400 million toward the construction of 3,000 affordable homes in Ottawa. That's the kind of collaboration we need to move Ottawa forward. And I have to say, I've lived and worked in Ottawa my entire life, and I've never seen more collaboration than there is right now. We're working closely with the other levels of government and the City of Gatineau. Our economic development partners, including the Board of Trade, Invest Ottawa, Ottawa Tourism, and Regroupement des gens d'affaires, are working closely together in our city's best interests. We're working together to support local businesses, to promote shopping local at this critical time, to reposition our economy for the future. We're working together to improve downtown Ottawa and the Byward Market. I think you'll all agree we can't have a great city without a vibrant downtown core. Working with our partners, we've created many new public spaces downtown that are already being used by residents. We have a new concert hall, History Ottawa, that's going to open this year in the Byward Market. We still have a lot of work to do, but again, we're making progress. We've seen a 50% increase in traffic to the Byward Market in the past year. And I will have more to say about our plans for downtown and the Byward Market in just a few weeks at another Board of Trade event. In addition, we are repositioning Ottawa's economy at a time of great uncertainty. Invest Ottawa, thank you, Sonia and the team. Invest Ottawa is leading our efforts for Ottawa and Gatineau to be recognized as Canada's defense innovation hub, to ensure that we benefit significantly from the federal government's historic investments in defense. We've been working closely with Ottawa Tourism and our partners in the hospitality industry, and the results have been terrific. We just hosted the World Junior Hockey Championships last year. We brought Ironman Canada to Ottawa for the first time. We had the best year ever for tourism in our city in 2025. And now that the plan to improve Lansdowne Park has been approved, we can start attracting the events that were no longer coming to Ottawa because our facilities were old and crumbling. Lansdowne 2.0 will generate $1 billion in economic development in our city. Lansdowne 2.0 apportera $1 milliard en retombées économiques pour notre ville. And we've been securing more direct flights to Ottawa, along with the new international flights to Paris and London. Thank you to our friends at the airport for all their hard work on this, and to Ottawa Tourism as well. So we've had the new flights to Paris and London. We've seen Porter Airlines increase its activity as well with direct flights to places like Victoria and Fort Lauderdale and Las Vegas and many Caribbean destinations. This year, in particular, is a special year for our wonderful city. We're celebrating the 200th anniversary of the founding of Bytown. It's our 200th birthday. Yesterday, I was joined by some of our partners, including my co-chair, Stephanie Siska, to announce just a few of the plans that we have in place. One example is the partnership we have with Blues Fest. They're adding an Ottawa 200 flavor to the festival this summer. On July 19th, they will be offering free programming during the daytime before a special performance from the iconic Canadian band The Guess Who that night. And in fact, they're selling discounted tickets starting tomorrow, I think, for that event. And by the way, fun fact, we discovered after Blues Fest chose July 19th as the day they'd have this special party, we found out after the fact that it was actually the 200th day of the year, July 19th. So worked out fortuitously. So let's pretend we planned it that way. And after a record year for film and TV production in 2025, the Ottawa Film Office might have another very big year coming up, especially if Heated Rivalry decides to shoot season 2 in Ottawa. As we all know, Shane Hollander from the show is from Ottawa, and his dad works for the Treasury Board of Canada, just like my wife used to. My wife, Ginny, tells me that Shane is very proud of our city, and when he's trying to convince Ilya to come play for our team, he says, I like Ottawa because it's my hometown. And I have to say, I couldn't agree more. Depuis 2022, nous avons avancé sur de nombreux fronts. We've made progress on so many fronts since 2022. There are many things I haven't even talked about, including our primary care action plan to attract and retain more family doctors, our investments in new and revamped recreational spaces for our families, our support for rural Ottawa. I believe we've achieved that progress by working together. And I want to thank all the leaders in this room for your commitment to that approach. I see a lot of familiar faces in this room who have been part of that. Je veux remercier chacun d'entre vous pour votre engagement. I couldn't be more proud of that collaboration. Now, as you know, there's an election coming up at the end of this year, a municipal election, and I plan to run in that election. But right now, I'm still very focused on doing the job you elected me to do in 2022, because we still have a lot of work to do. We need to continue to move Ottawa forward. We can't change course now and start going in a different direction. There's so much uncertainty and anxiety with everything that's happening in the world right now. We must stay focused on what we can control, and that is building a better and stronger city for everyone. We must continue to respond to the affordability crisis and fight the pressures on local families and small business owners. We must fix our bus system and make sure the LRT extension to Orleans is opened as soon as it's safe and reliable. We must continue to strengthen our local economy, including attracting more defense investment. We must advance the revitalization of downtown Ottawa and the Byward Market. And we must improve the flow of traffic in our city and reduce congestion that impacts productivity. I'm going to have a lot more to say about all of these priorities in the weeks and months ahead. Cette année encore, je vais continuer à travailler dur pour vos priorités. Throughout this year, I'm going to continue to work hard on your priorities, building more homes, especially more affordable homes, improving public safety, fixing public transit, repairing our roads and sidewalks, investing in infrastructure. I will continue to work hard every day to bring people together, to deliver a balanced approach, to invest in what matters most while keeping taxes and fees as low as possible. I will continue to work hard every day to strengthen and diversify our local economy. Comme je l'avais promis en 2022, je vais continuer à travailler chaque jour pour rendre Ottawa plus sécuritaire, plus fiable, et plus abordable. I will continue to work hard every day to make Ottawa safer, more reliable, and more affordable, just like I promised to do in 2022. As we start 2026, I have to tell you, notwithstanding everything that's going on in the world, I'm starting to sense that people are feeling more hopeful about the future of our city. They're starting to feel more optimistic. They're starting to see opportunity. And I think as we celebrate our 200th anniversary, they're starting to feel proud of Ottawa again. And that's why we must keep moving forward. Nous devons continuer à faire avancer Ottawa. We can't turn around and go back to the way things were in 2022. We must keep working together for the people of Ottawa. We must keep moving Ottawa forward. And let's keep doing that together. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.